Hi, Akira. You made a request over in Facebook that you'd like me to take a look at your pictures, and then I encouraged you to go over to 5 Pencil Method community and post them so that I could see them, and you did that. And I think you just did a wonderful job. Maybe some people might think I say that too much, but I think you just did a fabulous job here. There are a few things that you might be able to do to bring them up to another level. Some things you might not necessarily see, but it's very difficult for me or anyone else to really give you a good critique or a recommendation when we can't see the reference for these. So we don't know, what to really tell you to strive for to get it to look like the subject. But I think you have a wonderful style and technique here. You can come up with more contour, and you can come up with, a better maybe use of your light. This is one of the things that I think that would really help you. And again, it'd be good if I could see the reference, but to establish the direction your light is coming from, because it seems like it's coming from a lot of different areas. And so it's caused a few inconsistencies, and these are, again, just fine little things that you can do if you really want to have an opportunity to take this to another level. Let me get my Photoshop working here. I am always interested in how light works, so I want to see things get darker when they go to where there's less light, and I want to see things become lighter when they come to where there's more light. And yet, if you only do it with some of the things, this is going to cause a little bit of a conflict. So you'll see in the hat that you have this band, let's just, because I don't know exactly what it is, it might be a ribbon or something. It's darker up here where it goes around and behind, and it's darker as it goes underneath this flower. And yet on this one, you have nothing that indicates that. It might be because you didn't get that far. Maybe you're going to draw more and have already on this drawing. But some of the things like that are things that cause a little conflict in your mind. There are a few opportunities for you to correct that same thing going on in other places in this drawing. And it's like this right here, this tie around her neck. As it hangs down here, it has a shadow to the left. And maybe I need to go a little farther down. Okay, I can't get this activated here. All right, you'll see that this right here has a little bit of a shadow to the left, but the knot doesn't have any shadow. And these are some of the things I'm talking about. If you could try to have things consistent, it doesn't mean that everything has to be the same value for that shadow, just like up here at the ribbon versus this lace that goes around here, or whatever this is. This would be darker as it goes around, especially underneath whatever this is, but you would not have it be as dark as it might on a darker ribbon. Everything is relative. Everything gets darker, but it gets darker within its own range of value. So I think that some of those things might be really good for you to strive for. And I'm losing my cursor here every once in a while. So if you were able to come in here then and make a little darker value here, and I'm doing it with my Photoshop, but it still illustrates that we're going to get darker as we go around behind, then it's going to suggest contour and curve. This is a round hat. And let me go ahead and lighten this up a little bit here. See if I can come up with a little softer value. But there's things here too. This shadow here, this line is pretty static, and yet we have a round head and a round hat with a round hole in it to fit over a round head. And so there's nothing here that really suggests that that's what's happening here. And now I have it too light, wouldn't you know it? So it would be nice if you could have this getting darker as it gets away from that hat. The shadow is going to be farther away from that source of what's casting the shadow, and so it might be wider here. Now over here it might be wider here, and then where it's barely touching, or it is just touching the hair and actually on it, this would be very tight here. It wouldn't be nearly as wide. those are some of the principles that I think that you could probably incorporate into your picture with some real success. Now, I keep losing my cursor here. Okay, now over here, as you see this getting darker, you would also see this get darker. And this is pretty harsh, again, with the brush I have for my Photoshop. But you want to be able to have a consistency. Now, I'm not saying the shadow should be there because, again, I don't know exactly where the light source is for this. But you can follow some of the same rules, and when you take a look at your reference, you can decide, I know that this should be getting darker as it goes in this direction. So you always have an opportunity to show us where we're looking by where you put that deepest part of the shadow. I think you've done some wonderful things. Your hair is just, you know, it's complicated. I know it probably took a lot of work, and yet I think you've done a very nice job. You show some great promise with being able to do some really nice realistic hair. This other one here that you said was your first one, on the right-hand side is very nice hair too. It's just, you have a wonderful tapered stroke, and if you keep fine-tuning it and just think about your light source, you're going to be able to do some fabulous things. There's a few places you might be able to do maybe a little darker to show that it's a little bit more depth in there, a little bit less light, and it might be in places that I may not see here because, again, I can't see the resource. I mean, I can't see the reference. So the other thing that I would suggest is that anytime you see a line, this is a wonderful style and technique, but every time you see a line, you want to be able to interpret it if you want to follow the 5-pencil method. So this would be going to an edge where it also gets darker. So you would find all of these creases getting a little darker as they go to where there's less light. And it's just a general rule. You'll see just within those little crude examples that these are places that would dramatically change how this picture comes across, and it's your decision. You want to keep your style and technique, but you can still do it, again, with you know, showing contour and that rules of light. Now, if you go over to 5pencilmethod.com, you can pick that rules of light up in the free lessons, and it's when you go to the 5-pencil method, you click on the tutorials, you'll see the free lessons. You'll now go to the third one, which is rules of light, and I know I mention this often, but it's partly because it's so good to know. Even the simplest drawings benefit from these simple principles that you can go ahead and incorporate into your pictures. And then the other one, there's probably many that might apply. I just chose one tutorial that's free, and you can go to the 5pencilmethod.com, look at the tutorials, choose critiques, and look at critique number 3. It's actually of a leaf, but it kind of gives you an idea about shadows again, that the farther away the leaf is from where it's casting a shadow, the wider the shadow is going to be, and that we want soft edges to the shadow edge that's coming into the light, and we want clean edges that replace some of the lines that are non-dimensional. If you want more dimension, make an edge to value and show that that light gets darker as it goes towards where there's less light. So I hope that some of those things will help you. You could look around your picture and see a number of things that you might be able to do. You might be able to make the corners of the mouth a little darker. It would take a little bit of the focus off of the little dark value you have in between the two front teeth, and it'll help balance things out. Sometimes you'll find that a value isn't near as dark as you think if you get other things darker to contrast with it, although I want to really manage my values well and not get too dark. So I hope this helps you. Again, you've done a wonderful job. How exciting to be able to see what you're doing at 16 years old, and I just can only imagine what you're going to do if you can start again incorporating some of these wonderful, solid principles into your drawing. So thank you, Akira, and we'll talk to you later. Thank you.